Well, hello, hello, hello. It's your girl, Shauna Ray, and we are back with Boss Talk. That's bold, one of a kind, sensational superstars, and that's you.
One of a kind. One of a kind.
Well, welcome back. It's Wednesday, and that's Hump Day, and that is time for Boss Talk. That's bold, one of a kind, sensational superstars, and that's you. We're so glad to have you back with us this week. And so now I'd love it if you would go ahead and put in the chat where you're coming from, and also take a moment and share out our link so we can get some of your people in here, because this is a conversation you don't want them to miss. So ask them to join us. Well, hello, 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 and happy post Thanksgiving. I'm so glad to see y'all back. And go ahead in the chat and tell me if you had a lovely Thanksgiving, and just what did you do? Wow, we are on time. Yes, Mr. Seals, we actually are. We are trying to do that every week because we don't want y'all to wait on us. We're happy to have you back again. And so tell us about your Thanksgiving. Was it amazing? Was it wonderful? And what are you grateful for? So I know that for me, it was a beautiful time. It was an exciting time in our family because we had a wedding of my youngest niece, and she got married to an amazing man. So shout out to hashtag Ellie and Zach. And they had a true fairy tale wedding. I cannot tell you how beautiful it was. Everyone was lovely. It was a black tie affair. And I mean to tell you that there were all the beautiful people in the world must have been in that room. It was amazing. And it was happy. It was upbeat. Those young folks were jamming it out. And I have to say that my sorors, the sorors of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, we showed up and showed out as we sang the hymn to Allie as she was in the middle. And we did our set it off stroll, and like nobody else can. And then, of course, the men from Omega Psi Phi were in the house, and they were in the house strong and loud and handsome and just really doing their thing. So it was an amazing time. We had a beautiful time, and it was a full-on week-long event. We had an opportunity to meet and greet the out-of-towners, and some of them joined us for Thanksgiving dinner. And then we had luncheons and later on in the evening, just, social events for the family and friends, and then the beautiful wedding, and then the aunties brunch was on Sunday. So it has been a whirlwind weekend, and I just want to shout out Allie and Zach as they are on their honeymoon, off the grid, enjoying themselves, I am sure. And just shout out to Vanessa Bell Calloway and Dr. Tony Calloway as the parents of the bride, and Mr. Fred and Stephanie Prince, parents of the groom. It was truly a royal wedding. And so I just wanted to just really give them some love on that. And yes, and just so you know, it's called SLR time. No, so and Mr. Seal says I had a great time, hung out with my future wife, rubbed shoulders with heavyweights when it comes to financial freedom, and the food was absolutely wonderful. Yes, indeed, Mr. Seals. Indeed. Thank you for sharing that. So now we are approaching a new year, and I'm very excited for the holiday season. As I'm always a holiday girl, I love any opportunity for celebration. But one of the things that comes to mind for me as we enter into 2024 is just the life of an entrepreneur and how to level up. Because with each year for entrepreneurship, it can be challenging, but there's a lot of opportunity for growth always. And so my guest tonight actually helps small businesses living this entrepreneur life actually scale up their businesses so that they can level up for success. And I am so excited for you to meet her tonight because she's been a part of my life for as long as I have been in California. And we sometimes miss what our people do, for their livelihoods. And I know that Nisi's journey has been one of full on growth and really getting to the place of being able to use the gifts, her God-given, God-driven purpose, as you all know that I call it, to really live in those gifts and then use those gifts to help other people live in their gifts. So it's an exciting time for her. And so I want us to be able to learn more about it and share in that tonight. So let me tell you a little bit about Miss Otissa Johnson. So I call her Nisi, but I'm gonna call her Otissa because she's a businesswoman now. And so she, as a strategic leader with a specialization in operational excellence, Otissa's career is a showcase of transforming visionary concepts into, hold on, there's something covering up my situation here, so I cannot see. Okay. Yes, there it is. A showcase of transforming visionary concepts into executable plans that yield consistent success. Renowned for navigating high stakes projects and large scale initiatives, Otissa excels in dynamic business environments, skillfully merging precise program management with innovative strategic planning for assured launch readiness. So her approach intertwines data-driven planning with agile execution strategies, underscored by an exceptional ability to materialize visionary ideas into tangible success outcomes. This skill has been critical in preparing businesses for successful market entries and achieving sustainable impacts in competitive environments. So I want you, Boss Talkers, to please welcome, without another word from me, Otissa Johnson to the Boss Talk stage.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, that was wonderful. Thank you.
So good to see you and have you on tonight.
So good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yes, yes. So I'm really excited for this conversation with you tonight because, like I said, a lot of our Boss Talkers are entrepreneurs,
hmm
and what you're doing is helping us as entrepreneurs kind of learn strategies to strategically move into the places where we want to be.
Yeah.
So that's always exciting. But before we get into that, let's talk about us because I always like to share with the audience, the Boss Talkers, how I know my guests. So you and I go way back, as folks say.
Wait.
Way back. So I moved here in 97, right? And so
hmm
we met at church
hmm
back
hmm
then, but it was your mother that sort of brought us all together.
Yep. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
So I met your mom at church and then she sort of adopted me. So
Yep.
we became sisters.
Yep.
Yes. So not only sisters in Christ, but sisters in a family kind of way. And
Yes.
so, yes. So I've watched your beautiful children grow up.
When I met you, I only have one.
Oh my goodness. That is right. Oh my goodness. And now you're a
Yeah,
mom of three.
that's right.
And three
plus
boys.
the bonus daughter. Yep.
And plus a bonus daughter. That's right. And I even know her. Yes.
Yes.
Now your youngest is how old now?
My youngest is 17,
And your oldest is,
27,
and your middle is?
23.
Oh my goodness. Yes, girl, you got the whole gamut.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And
You're
so
blessed.
is the baby boy on his way? Is he's still in high school then?
Senior in high school.
He's a senior now.
Yes.
Wow. And
Yeah.
and they're all 6 feet and over, aren't they?
Not quite. I think they all, well, let's just say he is the tallest. The baby is the tallest. I shouldn't say baby, but the youngest is the tallest. And then everybody else kind of,
Falls in line.
yeah, yeah, but
Isn't
he is
that
the tallest.
something? He is the tallest.
Yes. Couldn't have
Wow.
imagined it.
That is so funny. Well, I
Yeah.
love it. Well, they're beautiful boys, and you have a
Thank
lovely
you.
husband, my
Thank
namesake.
you. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. So, so we've known each other for all these years, and I honestly
Mhm.
can say, Nisi, I didn't, Otissa, that I did. I'm getting used to it. That I didn't always know what you did.
Yes.
So tell us about your journey, like in work.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny because my family doesn't always even know what what I do, so it's fine. So my journey, I started off, I think, just working in different office capacities, administratively, and kind of worked my way up. Gosh, I think I've been in corporate America over 30 years. So kind of worked my way up through the ranks, went back to school, got my degree as a mom and wife, and finished that. Have worked for several different tech companies as well as investment banking and organizations like that. My current tenure has been about 10 years at the same place, which is a financial software company where I've had the opportunity to wear many hats over the years. I have an affinity, I would say, for tech. I love it. I love the fast pace. So I tend to try and find a space for myself within those types of organizations.
Got it. Got it. So now, when you started out back as like an administrative, maybe
Mhm.
administrative assistant,
Yeah.
did you have a vision for where you wanted to go at that time?
You know what? I think I always imagined myself doing much more, didn't know what the journey would entail as far as how I would get there. But yeah, I definitely always was like, oh, okay, this is just the beginning.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, I love that.
I'm gonna,
I love
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure,
So, Mr.
for
Seal
sure.
says this is going to be a good talk. This beautiful lady has a smile on her face and presents herself with confidence. Ah,
Thank you, Mr.
absolutely.
Shields.
Absolutely. So, okay, so you knew that this was just a sort of a beginning step for you, and you had a
Yeah,
vision for going places, let's just say. But at that
absolutely.
time, you didn't know what that was going to look like.
I didn't. I think I dabbled in many different things. I think when I found tech, which was, okay, my middle son about 23 years ago, when I found tech, I really enjoyed the pace, my personality, and just the wearing of many hats, doing many things. Never really growing bored. I think prior to that I did, but once I was in those environments, there was, no shortage of things that needed to be done. So it was a really good playing ground, I would say, for my learning to be able to do many different things. I was able to work in, the legal department, the marketing department, the product team, the sales team. So all of these different areas, I was able to really learn a lot.
Mhm.
And I think that's what has kind of gotten me to where I am now and the interest and passion that I have.
Got it. So you have, so tech, women in tech is a growing
Yeah.
growing thing, and it's
Yes.
kind of a like uh it is fast paced, it's interesting, and it's
Yeah.
ever changing, so I can understand how that would keep you interested and keep you on your toes as well.
Yeah.
Yes,
Hmm. Hmm.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now you're in a space that you love, the work that you're doing for the company that you work with,
Yeah.
right? and and you've branched out and started your own company.
Yeah. Yeah. I did. I had been toiling with it, I think, gosh, probably the last 11 years, I
Mm.
would say. Started off doing a small company expressions and organization. I'm like, oh, I'm going to, organize and I'll build a business around this. Enjoyed that for a hot second and then was like, "Ah, it wasn't, do wish I had kept at it because now I see all these organization companies and I was like, I was on to something. But that's okay. I am where I'm meant to be. But definitely. So toil, that was the first thing that I registered a business, went through the whole process and actually, started to work the business, got some signage from a car, and really tried to market myself doing that. And then I would say this recent journey has been really kind of a compilation of maybe it's age, maybe it's maturity, maybe it's all of it. But just getting to a point of like, if not now, then when?
Mm.
As well as just the stirrings that I think that God puts in you and kind of you can only ignore for so long. So I'm just choosing to not ignore them anymore.
I love that. I love that. What do you think was um, sort of the underlying stuff that made you ignore up to now?
Fear. Fear.
Mm.
Like, I mean, the
Yeah.
fear, I definitely, there's a woman I was listening to. I love a lot of different podcasts, as webinars and different things like that. And this young lady phrased it very well. And she said, fear will shrink you.
Mm.
And it's like, that is the essence of, I think, what, yes, I have had a great career and I'm excited about it. And I still love the work that I do, but it's a part of the skill set that I have. It is not the entire holistic Otissa. And
Mhm.
so as I think in terms of that, and I think in terms of like, I really do think I can reach more people. I think I can help a lot more people with what I have gained. I think that has ignited a fire in me to push forward, to push past the fear, to not give into it, to not listen to those, critical voices, whether inside my head or outside of it,
Yeah.
to kind of, keep pushing forward. So
Yes, yes, that is so good. And I'm glad you mentioned fear because usually when I talk to people in coaching and otherwise, it's always the
yeah,
fear that keeps us stuck. And of course, the acronym false evidence appearing real, but it be looking real, real.
yes,
you know,
yes,
and
yes. Oh, it does.
it can paralyze us. It really
Yeah,
can.
yeah, yeah.
So okay, so now you have decided, God kept tickling at you, and you have
Mhm.
decided to move into the space of I call it your God-given, God-driven purpose.
Yeah. So didn't arrive exactly just here. A friend of mine works for a university and she was looking for a speaker. And I had already been at the top of the year, I had kind of laid out all the things for the company Bravara and, had started to like do quarterly goals for it. I'm like, why not apply what I use in my work, my 9 to 5 job to my own thing. And so
Mhm.
I started doing that. But then I did got to speak in front of about 100 college students, or not college students, they were high school seniors, excuse me,
Wow.
at the university, and some college students that attended. And I was like, I like this. So, I had been talking about just this journey from, I focused my conversation with them on entrepreneurship to entrepreneurship. So
Mm.
the focus was being this entrepreneur within the guardrails of a corporation, right? So you're there, it's safe, if you, perform a particular task, you get a particular fee, you get a few perks. But there's inside of you, you are always looking at everything you do from an entrepreneur spirit, right? You are the everything. This is my thing. I'm, doing all the things and I want it to be great. And how do I do that? So that part and that talk and developing that talk was just really like, okay, this is
Mm.
what you've been doing. Like
Yeah.
you've kind of been doing it, but you've been within these guardrails. And so I think I'm dismantling the guardrails and being, not giving into the fear little by little so that
Yeah.
I can actually see what God has for Otissa.
Yes, I love that. And I love that you were in the process, right, of helping someone else, some
Yes.
others
Yeah.
understand how their journey could look when you discovered, whoa, hold on, this feels
Mhm.
kind of like it fits,
Yeah.
And then that
Yeah.
helps you to say, okay, I'm ready to get out there. I'm ready to do this.
Yeah.
what else is there for Otissa? I love that. So there is a mutual friend kind of that's commenting here. Hello, yo. Welcome to Boss Talk, girl. It's so good to see you. So inspired by both your evolutions, brave women leading the way. Aw,
So sweet.
my heart.
Like,
Yes. If you're a part of my heart, she's the other part. And then mama's in the middle.
yes, yes, yes. Same for me.
Yes. Good to see you, girl. Thank you. And you are doing things as
Yes,
well.
she
I
is. She
love
is.
all these entrepreneurial women. And
Mm,
when you step into what it is that I say is your God-given, God-driven purpose, we call it here at Boss Talk and at Living Love, we call it your who you are-ness.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's when you're in that space where you're like feeling good, it's in the groove, and you are living just as you're built.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I mean, you're able to talk about it more passionately. Like when I
yeah,
start to, you and I had some conversations, I've had conversations and pitched different things, and it's just like, oh, that feels
yeah,
good. Like, so, growing confidence with every interaction.
And I love that it helps you to start saying yes.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's funny because we all live. There are seasons, don't you think that? Was there a season in your life when you were saying yes to things and then you stopped? You think, and then picked it back up?
Yeah, I think, like I said before, 10 or 11 years ago, I looked at, I was thinking, like, I know I want this. I'm not sure how to get it. I'm not sure how to do it. Um, all those things. I was thinking that way back when, and then, started another role. I started this current role actually that I'm in.
Mhm.
And, I get swallowed up by all of the things, and you kind of shelve your stuff kind of to the side, but it doesn't go away. And
Right.
I think that part about it not going away has it just it was it's time, and I know it's time, and I'm like, okay, God, I hear you. I'm a woman of faith like yourself, so I'm like, I hear you. Like, he won't let me rest
Right.
until I actually put it out there and say
Yeah.
it and talk about it and do things toward it. It
Mm.
is, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's kind of biblical. It's kind of like you got the fire shut up in your bones.
Yeah, it's like, let's go, let's go.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Yes, Joe says, howdy, sisters, howdy back.
How-
I remember when I first moved to California,
mhm,
and I think I was working for a particular hair designer, and
mhm,
I think I told my mom, I'm gonna say, well, no, I told my mom, I said, Mommy, I'm at my first power lunch at Chin Chin's on
mhm,
Sunset. And she
uh-huh.
said, well, baby girl, I invite you to say yes. And I said, what do you mean? She said, I invite you to whatever opportunity comes that you say yes to it. And I
Yeah.
said, okay. And that very day, the woman we were having lunch with said to me, you are so funny. When are you going to let me book you at the Comedy Store? And I was like, what? I'm not a, yes. I stopped. I said yes. And I
Yeah.
answered to that call. And then I was doing that and I was doing that and doing that. And then I moved to another job, job, and
Mhm,
I got quieter. My yes got quieter and quieter
mhm,
and quieter.
mhm. Yeah.
And I realized that it took them inviting me to go home and not come back. It took that
Yeah.
invitation to open my mouth again to my yes. And so I
Mhm,
think that, God was gnawing at me the whole while. And at
mhm.
that time, there were some people who wanted me to do something about this letting go of me from the job, and file some what do they call it, wrongful termination situation.
Mhm.
It was, and I said, no, no, thank you. They did for
Mhm.
me what I wouldn't do for myself. And
Yeah.
that brought me back to my yes, which is what took
Mhm.
me to school and all
Mm.
of that. So sometimes the voice is speaking to you and you're not listening, and it will take, it might take a boom to kind
Yeah.
of get your attention. So
Yeah.
now here you are, you've moved into this space of, I know what it is I want,
Mhm.
going to go after it, and you built a company.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I talked about at the top of the year. I had been thinking about it in 2022, but really, I think just acted on it in
Mhm.
2023, early part of 2023. Always big on setting goals at the beginning of the year and like trying to look back at them, see where I am, what did I do, did I do anything? I just don't want to be the same at the end of the year. Like
Right.
I feel like I should be constantly growing and doing something, and if I don't, it bothers me. So that was my practice to do that.
Right.
And this time I did it, and in 2022 I kind of mapped out like, okay, here's the company, here's what I wanted to do, here's the other things, da 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 da, all those different things. But like many, I have a 9 to 5 job, I have a family, and not ready to be like, oh, I'm plunging right into it. But I do want to give it some attention. I want to give it some real attention,
Mhm.
and really, see what it can do. And so I think that is, so I say all this with the preface of Bravara is born, February of 2023. And that's when I registered. And so, it's born February 2023. But I definitely, I'm still working my 9 to 5 job, right? I'm
Mhm.
still, doing all these things and doing that, when I'm done with work, I'm, on to this and helping,
Mhm.
my family and all the things that you do. So it is giving it time, finding time for it, and actually working to build it. And then I think I had shared with you, I started off, I was like, okay, you know what? I coach all the time at work. What would be something that I could do that's just an extension of what I'm already, known for? And
Mhm.
so I'm like, I coach at work. I'm going to take a coaching certification class. So I went to the Life Coaching Institute, with the prompting of a dear friend, and colleague, who had taken the course. And she's just like, yep, I just got it. I finished it. You should do part one and part two. I do all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, great. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And I was just like, oh my goodness, I thought about coaching all wrong. Now I truly understand what a gift it is, you know. And
Mhm.
it really is a gift. So a plug for all the coaches, you, me, everybody else. Like I'm just
Right.
telling you, like give them an hour and you will be surprised at
It's
what
so
the
true.
results are.
Yeah.
So went through that, went through that class, had my own coaching sessions because as a part of the coaching, certification, you have to be coached. And
Right.
so, I had my sessions, very revealing. Fear was revealed, and just this opportunity to talk about like who I really was, and what was I really afraid of. And the persistency and the quietness of the coach in the moment to allow me to like sit in it, sit in it until I got like a lot of the things out was life changing. Life
Yes.
changing. Like I
Yeah.
couldn't believe like, and she at the end, she's just like, now that doesn't sound like a woman who would be afraid. That doesn't sound like one who would not pursue, her dreams. And it was like chilling because I was like, it doesn't, but I'm the other girl. Like,
Right, right. What I mean, it's so true, and I want to point that out because you and I talked about that. In fact, can I share what you said when you
sure.
said your bio? So,
Yeah.
full transparency, Nisi sent me this beautiful bio. It is so well written. So, I want to say that it is well written. It is descriptive. It is pristine. And she said, I have to admit, I had a little bit of imposter syndrome in writing this bio, and I'm glad that you did, and I'm glad that you said it because all those things that came out of you, you got to realize where they came from. They didn't come from anybody else. They came from you.
Yeah.
And that is the very thing that you give to other people, that excellence. That is what I
Yeah.
think of when I think of Nisi, of Otissa in business. It's
Okay.
excellent. And your sister says it here. Otissa is known for her planning, goal setting, and getting it done. And that is what it makes perfect sense that you are doing the business that you're doing. And when
Yeah.
you and I talked about coaching, and I'm going to put up this because Yo put this up. She said, inviting me to go home and never come back. Best description ever. Yes, indeed. And that's the boom. For me, that was the boom. So let's say
Yeah.
somebody has a boom. and they know that I can't return
Mhm.
to another 9 to 5.
Mhm.
Anybody like that out there like me who has been fired from some of the best places on the planet, or who
Yeah.
has quit some of the best places on the planet in the midst of it, people saying, "Ooh, you can't quit that good job." That
Yeah.
job is like, I don't want to go watch. Leave me, give me something exciting and fun and that fits me. And
Yeah.
so in discovering that after the boom, in
Mhm.
terms of coaching, you call me because you don't know what you want to do. You have
Yeah.
no clue, you have no vision, and I am your cheerleader. I am going
Yeah.
to pull out of you your who you
Mhm.
are-ness, where you live, and I'm going to give you all the courage to start that business.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
I'm going to turn you over to Nisi. I get you started, but then I don't know. I'm not a systems girl. I don't know none of that, right? But I am your biggest cheerleader. I can figure out what has you stuck,
Yeah.
what you are good at, and why you're good at it. And then I will give you over to Otissa, because Otissa will then take that and create strategies, look
Yeah.
at what your challenges are, and create operational systems that will help you level up. Now, when you
Yeah.
think that you can't do it and you have a little imposter syndrome, holla at your girl. I'm gonna send you right back to Nisi. And that is what I love about this whole
Yeah.
coaching thing, because there is room out here for everybody. It's like my
Mhm.
my coach said, collaboration crushes competition.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
we're both coaches. We
Yeah.
both are performance coaches, but
Yeah.
we are performance coaches at different ends of the spectrum. And so
Yeah.
I really want to point that out to the
Yeah.
people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because when you and I sat down and talked, boy, it was so much that we shared with one another,
Yeah.
and so much that we aligned with, and we saw our niches, right?
Yeah.
And our piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, yeah. And I think just to echo what you said, I think that piece about if you are stuck, I think that so many people are stuck for many different reasons. And I think one of the wonderful things that I learned through the coaching certification was therapy can deal with some of those past issues so you can get that sorted out, right? And then you can get someone who can help you to tear down even more walls. And then you can start being, you can start accelerating like your success. So the things that you've had in your head, some of us know, some of us don't know, you can actually start to chip away at that. And I think by doing my own work, because I am not just, saying it, by doing my own work, it's like now I understand that process. I didn't understand it. And that's probably why I didn't stick with the little things that I would try, early in life. I loved interior design. I still love interior design. But I was like, I ain't making no money in that. So like, I went this safe route. But you know what? Who's to say that I never would have if I hadn't put my mind to it? So I'm saying that to say that I think I had other things in which to unpack and that
Mhm.
I, at the time, did not unpack. And so it has taken me some time to kind of work through some things like that. But I want to help people to not take that much time, number one, because I think it's wasteful and you don't have to.
Right.
But also, I think through the coaching and the training, understanding just allowing people to be able to speak. Quite often we talk to our friends, our family, but we are interrupted, right? But when you're in these coaching sessions and literally it's just all about you,
Yes.
all about your breakthrough, you
Mhm.
would be surprised of what 60 minutes can accomplish. And
Right.
so I think with the birthing of Bravara, and kind of, going into that, I wanted to use those talents that I already possessed. So the coaching, like I talked about, was something that I was doing. I wasn't doing it according to the ICF, which is but I had been coaching people, mentoring people, and just trying to help in many different ways. I wasn't trained in how to do so. I did take some classes, of course, in my professional, career to
Mhm.
learn how to do several different things and manage better and teach people better. Yes, I did. A lot of things on emotional intelligence I'm really into because I do believe that great leaders have, a strong emotional intelligence when they have empathy for other people and they actually are aware of more than just their goals, but what is
Mhm.
happening around them. So with Bravara, being able to take that, so small businesses, mid-sized businesses, and they've achieved some success, right? They have some success. They have been doing something that a lot of people don't even do. So they've kind of gotten over that part, but then they get to a point to where it's overwhelming. It's, I don't know if I can continue this. All of those different things. And so that part, I'm like, I can help. I can help there. That is me taking what I have learned over the last 30 years, these systems, me being able to kind of unpack these complex problems and reverse engineer them and figure out, hey, here's where you actually is a good place to start. It's a collaborative process. And I, say to clients, it's collaborative. It's not just me presenting you like, oh, here's the plan, here's the roadmap, you completed the assessment, that's the end of your work. No, this is your business. You are the gift to the business. And I just want to be able to help you to stay in that light of
Mhm.
being the gift to the business and using your strengths and being able to, contract out where you need to fill some gaps, where you can have some things, documented, processes, created, and then you can pass those on to someone to actually do that. And then we can revisit it when you need to, but I don't have to stay in there. We can establish it according to, what works for your business. And that's the other thing. It's a custom service. Like no
Right.
two companies are alike. Your vision is different from the next vision, and how you do things is different from the way the next person does it. But
Mhm.
I do believe there's foundational things that
Right.
kind of, help businesses to survive. I've been around enough large companies to see like, okay, they do certain things, in a consistent way to get certain results. And
Yeah.
so I want to be able to help people to do that.
I love that. I love that. Now, it's just someone like me who honestly systems. Let's talk a little bit about systems
Sure.
because I I am a person who is spontaneous and
Hmm.
who also I love organic process, right? And so I have allowed my thinking on being authentic and organic and true to myself and all of that to lead me to places where that are not helpful for me. And
Hmm.
so I also like to keep all of my money in my pocket. And so,
Yeah. Yeah.
so I'm learning that with my business, I have been trying to be the chief, the cook, and the bottle washer, as my mother would say back in the day. And
Yeah.
I've learned that no, you have to, because as a therapist, all of our therapists see other people, they get paid for that. They're actually essentially making their own money. But
Mhm.
realizing that there has to be some foundational support that
Yeah.
supports all of that that
Yeah.
that has to be systematized
Mhm.
in order for it to run, like I always like to say, like a well-oiled machine. And so
Yeah.
I am understanding the value of systematization. Is that the
Yeah.
word? Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so how would you explain that value to our boss talkers out here tonight?
Yeah, I think so. We all have things that we love to do, things that we don't love to do, right? And I am, when you are starting out, any business owner, you do have to wear those hats. It just is out of necessity in the beginning, but then you get to a point to where you're profitable, right? You're making some money, there's a little bit more, but you know that you can scale this business up. With Bravara, we are trying to take what you have created and figure out like where is your pain point. So, as
Yeah.
an example, it could be operational efficiency, right? So you've got a business, you've got an intake, you understand how clients come in, how they get serviced, how, they get set or, get their the services rendered, how you get paid for the services. You've kind of got those things, but it may not be consistent all the way around. I am a big believer in automation. I think that I said earlier that once I found my home in tech and working in tech companies, I found kind of like, okay, I like this kind of
Mhm.
business because of they're not afraid to try new technologies. They're not afraid of automation. They're not afraid to be agile and to go, this is not working. So therefore we need to adjust. And
Mhm.
so I want to take those things that I just talked about, that agility and, the automation and all those things, and say, if what's a good way to think about it? You have a ton of emails. Let's just, as an example, you got a ton of emails. This is a simple example, but for this sake, I'll say it. You have a ton of emails. You're overwhelmed by the emails. So you're trying to be, what did you say? The cook, the bottle washer, the this, the that, and da da da. Emails don't get to happen until the wee hours of the morning. That could be automated. That does not have to be that way. I already in building, my own business as I started, immediately I wanted automation. I wanted to know if you came to my website, you fill out a form, I wanted to basically get these pieces of information from you. And
Mhm.
then I want to be able to take that information and, you know, um, synthesize it quickly so that
Mhm.
I can bring to you some relevant insights to help you with what you're going through. And so all of that for me has been built on automation. So, it can be any kind of tool. So I don't want to say a particular tool specifically because I think it depends on what the need is.
Right.
But I think you can use tools, right, in order to create that kind of automation so that
Mhm.
when you have, this plethora of emails, like, are those really the emails you should even be looking at? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, maybe not, but that is a place where I think everybody has a pain point. We have way too many emails. We give our email address out for every store we go to,
Yes.
every
Oh my
site
God.
we visit. And
Yes.
so, but there's rules. There's really rules that you can create to just kind of like bucket that stuff so it doesn't have to be so overwhelming. So that's one thing. But
Yeah.
that's a simple example of just taking automation to I think it is a business problem because for a leader, in order for you to understand where you should focus your time, you
Mm.
have to be able to sort through information quickly. And it's an in and out process.
Right.
What stays in and what should be out. And I need to qualify that quickly so that I can get to the next thing and continue to keep my business running, as well as if you're the face of the business and the primary talent of the business. Let's just say you may
Mm.
have other people, but you are the primary talent who goes out and secures maybe government contracts. You secure other companies in which you're going to do partnership with, all those kinds of things. You need to be able to focus on that. Right. So we're all going to have to do some administrative work, but I believe that that's just one very small thing. It
Mhm.
can be in your invoicing, it could be in your billing, it can be in your onboarding of your new therapists, right? How do you onboard them? Is that a consistent process? What does that look like? Who does that? When, where, and how? Like all these different things. As well as those operational efficiencies. So if you wanted to start a new therapy program, I don't know, a new type of clientele, like how do you go to market and actually do the things that you need to do to get there quickly so that you can start to see some results from that effort. So
Mm.
things like that
Mhm.
require and can benefit from automation and systematizing your approach.
I love it. Listen, boss talkers, I hope y'all taking notes out there because you just got a master class right now. I love the idea of automating and systematizing. And so, even in what you were saying, thinking about my business, I think that I do get emails directly from the website. I go on there and sometimes somebody's like, hey, it's my second time emailing. Oh my God, you know what I'm saying? And so, I think having a more systematic um, what is it, assessment on the website to ask the questions
Yeah,
that we know, and then having someone go in and say, okay, knowing the specialties of the therapist and saying, okay, this one we can give off to this therapist, this one we
yeah,
can give to this therapist because of these things. And that honestly would free me up to do
yeah,
more of the other things that benefit the business. I am the face of the business. Clearly, I'm right here on both sides of this.
exactly.
You know,
You did it.
I get that. I get that in such
Mm.
a great way. Boss Talkers, if you're understanding, if you're tracking with what Nisi is saying, put it in the chat so that we know that you're with us and you're following us. I think so I believe that there's certain things like my personality makes me great in this area. What is it you think about your personality that allows you this vision that you have, Nisi, to see the systematic ways that things need to go, to be able to track things, to pay the acute attention to detail, all of that? What do you think it is about you and your personality that lends you to that?
You know, I think that we're just like certain things you have a strength and I don't have a strength in. And I think that God gave me a little bit of more of that and not some other things. And so I think it's always been, I think, the way that I think. Like I go into a space, I don't see like all of the stuff in the space. I see how I'm going to clear out the space. I see what the space is going to be. And so that I think has been something that I've had, ever since I can remember. Of course, it has evolved, but I think, the essence of it is just being able to see the clutter, but then being able to see like, oh, if we wash that off and do this and do that, it's going to be just fine. Like I could, always kind of envision that way. And I think that's why I started the first business of expressions and organization, because I was thinking like that. I was thinking that was where I needed to lean into, because it was very natural for me to look at that
Yeah.
and do that kind of work. And then as I, grew as a professional, I was like, well, wait a minute, I've got some other things, in this bag that I could also, bring to fruition and, hopefully bring some results and monetization for myself, by offering services that people, they may struggle with, but I don't. For me, it is a challenge. It is not, overwhelming. I can look at the situation. I'm going to come in. I'm going to help you do this. I'm going to walk you through it. We're going to create something that, uses my expertise and takes the best of your business and creates something that you're going to be able to use. It's not for me. I'm going to leave and, go on to the next one. And it's going to be something that's left with you in order to basically make more efficiencies throughout your organization. And hopefully you learn a few things and you may be able to, what, she taught me that, like, we should start here and, do this thing or that thing so that we can make this better. So Bravara is going to, again, it is about filling the gaps. If you're wearing all of those hats, you can't wear all those hats and fix your problem. So you're going to need some help. And I think that getting the right kind of help is important. And, you've seen already from my assessment, to, the way that we synthesize that information through the assessment to kind of really hone down on where should we start. Because I think that that's important. Is I'm taking what you're giving me, what you say you want, and then I'm going to help you to figure out where's the best place to start so that you can have the most immediate impact on your operation.
Yes, I love that. And Yolanda says maybe big picture people versus detail people. And I think that's accurate. I think that I do see the big picture. I see the big picture. I see the whole thing, and it's so pretty and it's all those beautiful things. And I don't know how to get there. And I'm not even interested. I'm not even interested in all those details. And I think that that's where you come in terms of personality and how that gets developed. And I do remember a time when I was going to call you to come over and organize my house, and then God sent my cousin, and she was living there, and she was like, we're doing this. And so yes. And that is her gifting as well. She is the kind of person that can look at the place and see through. She can see through the clutter into an address clutter. And I am someone who has no idea where these things should go. And like her thing is always everything should have an address. And I'm like, they all live right here. And
you know what? I will say, I think that through the professional training and program management, me managing multiple high-level projects for corporations, right? There a lot of money is on the line, a lot of resources are on the line. They want to get it right the first time. And so with that being said, it's like, I'm pulling people in that, they don't report to me directly when you're running like a project team, but I have influence. And so they have to actually work with me, collaborate with me so that we all have a win-win. And so I think that skill, being able to, as long as I have been, being able to really make that skill shine for me has been just to my benefit, and is where I take into Bravara, because I think that, like, hey, if I can do it for these multi-million dollar projects, you know what I mean, with ease. Yes, small companies may not have all of the resources, but the principles, in my
Mhm.
opinion, are the same. But small businesses don't know it. They don't know it. The owner has a specific set of expertise, and they kind of are comfortable in that space. And I
Right.
think with Bravara being able to come in, I'm not saying go hire 5 people. If you have the money to do so, you should. I can
Sure do
help you with that. But some people don't have that, those kinds of resources yet, is what I will say. They're
that.
working toward that. And maybe once we come in and we do a bit of, that operational efficiency, then they can actually see where they can get those people,
Right.
and they can see what they will have those people do, right? Because you don't want to get someone, they should always be contributing to your business and helping you to bring in more business.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yolanda said she can see how to get there step by step. I just want to be there. Girl, you're preaching to the choir right now. Absolutely. That would be moi.
Yes. Yes.
Listen, Yo says, Shonda Ray, you are my people. That's who I am, left to my own devices. Yes. The roles I've had professionally have forced me to be better. Absolutely, Yolanda. I am with you on that. And it's, I think it's really I think it's living in your lane and living in your shape. And like you said,
Mm.
when you have the means to
Yeah.
to go to the next level and to hire and all of that, it's a wonderful thing. But sometimes we are forced
Yeah.
into some of these roles, and I've had to do some of that. But I am telling you, it ain't no fun for me.
Well, we're here to help.
Yes, yes, we love that. We love that. So, let's see. She said, at some of those skills, yes, we've had to be better at some of those things. I understand, girl. So, listen, we are getting near to the end. So, we're going to put up some ways that you can find us. So, if you, here are all of my things for you all to take a look at and jot down. If you need,
Mhm.
some coaching, then it's livinglovedcoaching.com. And as I already told you, I'm a performance coach. I help you to live. I want people to be able to perform at optimal levels in their lives. And sometimes that includes clearing out some cobwebs that are living up in here, not in a therapy way. That means you've done the therapy, and now what? That's
Mhm.
kind of where that works for me. And then if you need therapy, then find me at livinglovehealing.org. And on Instagram,
Mhm.
just to have a little fun, I'm at Living Love Healing, and Facebook, the same, Living Love Healing. And I do have a nonprofit organization called the William Joseph Brinkley Center for Cultural Affirmation, where we want to help people of color live in their best lives, live affirmed in your who you are-ness. And we'll have programs that will help you develop what it takes to do that, as well as therapy. It's a full-on wellness community that we're working through and through building. And our first arm of defense is therapy. So we do have therapists on board at living at William Joseph Brinkley Center for Cultural Affirmation. That's short for WJB Center, and you can reach us at that.com. Now, the other thing that I want to, I want to see what my soror is saying here. Let's see. Hey, Rhonda, what's up, girl? She says, informative. Thanks for the tips that turning your gifts into business requires dedication, perseverance, and a willingness to learn and adapt as you navigate the entrepreneurial journey. Thank
Mhm.
you.
Mhm.
Absolutely
Yeah.
right. Thank you, Soror. And Nisi, you have given us some great, I'm sorry, I'm going to get it. Otissa.
It's okay. You've been calling me that for 20 years.
I mean, yes. Otis, I've always known that it was Otissa. And so here's where you can connect with Otissa. Her website, www.bruvara.com. And
Mhm.
at Instagram, it's at Bruvara_enablement, and Facebook at Bruvara Enablement. And that is absolutely what she will do, enable you to find your best success. So I always like for my guests to leave the boss talkers with something you want them to know. What would you like to leave them with tonight? Like a 30-second quickie for us.
Yeah. It's never too late. It's
Mm,
never too late. And, that thing that's been in your head, I think that you feel like you were destined to do that won't go away. Give it a try.
I love that. Ooh, girl, listen, you summed it right up and just bam. I love that. I thank you. Sometimes it takes people a really long time.
I talk a lot at work.
But you hit that nail right on the head. I appreciate that. Thank you. And that's a good one. It's never too late. And I can attest to that, being that I
Mhm,
started this career at 50 years old. I decided to go back to school,
mhm.
to get my master's and go ahead and
Yes.
throw my hat in the therapy ring. So I'm grateful for
Mhm,
that message right there. That is a good
mhm,
one. Thank you. Thank you.
mhm,
Well, again,
mhm.
y'all, this is where you will up. Nope, we switched it up. That's where you're gonna find me. And I do hope that you will tune in to Boss Talk here on Wednesdays, because we have amazing guests that bring amazing tips and
Mhm,
strategies and tidbits and life lessons and all of that. And to get more from Otissa, please go ahead, y'all, and copy down these links and follow her on all the platforms. And listen, I took her assessment. It is thorough, amazing. It will make you think about what it is you actually need, not just want, but what you need, and help you to sort of set out some goals for yourself,
mhm.
as far as helping them get an idea of how they can help you get to the next level. And it's all about that leveling up thing, y'all.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
please go to Bravura,
Barbara
Bravura.com. And what does it mean? You said it's Italian.
is an Italian word, and it actually is exemplifying excellence and just, being brilliant and doing your very best, which is, I think, one of, I would say, a tenet of Bravara. So we want to help you to be your best. And I think everybody has that within them.
Now, did you say something about shine?
I did. Yes, I said brilliance. I said, exemplifying excellence, shine, all the sparkly things that you like.
Ooh, look at you. All the
Yes,
sparkle.
all the
I
sparkly things.
mean, yes, all the things that sparkle. And I won't lift my leg up and show you my shoes, but trust me, they sparkle too.
I bet.
Oh, Tissa, it has been so great chatting with you, and I'm so
Thank
happy
you.
to have had you on tonight. It's a long time coming.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, and it's so funny because we just connected, and I didn't even know what you were up to. So I'm so proud of all that you're doing,
Thank
and
you.
I know it's going to help a lot of people, including myself. It's going to help a lot of people get to where we want to be. So y'all go ahead and time to go.
Look at this.
Thank you for the 2-point step. I guess it is too late for your dream. I love it.
Go, one of a kind.
Thank you for having me, Charlotte. Thank you
Thank
so much.
you.
Go, one of a kind.
So thank you, y'all. It's been another Boss Talk right here on YouTube. And you can reach us any Wednesday night at 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, and 9 o'clock on that East Coast. Please tune in and tell a friend, and do subscribe and click the little bell so you'll know when we go live. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next Wednesday. Bold, one of a kind, sensational superstars, and that's you. And y'all know what to do. Live love and shalom, y'all.